Okay. All right. So there we go. Right. Just do that. Okay. Yeah, Max, really happy for you, and I'm gonna celebrate. I'm gonna tell my wife today
Yeah, of course.
about that. All right. Max, I found some very interesting phrases for you that we're just going to go over again about decision making.
Okay.
Um, do you know what is a no-brainer?
I think yes. Maybe it's difficult to explain you. Let me find some words. No brainer. I mean, it's not a discussion, correct? Or we don't need to find out anything. We just need to get this decision.
Yes. So a no-brainer is a decision that you make that requires little energy or
Yeah,
a little time.
and we
Um,
don't discuss and think a lot about that.
yes. So you don't think a lot about it. It's a no-brainer. Can you give me examples of some no-brainers in your life?
Uh, I think it's easiest example that I can give you. It's like yesterday I got a call from Emirates and they offered me a contract which will start in August, and they asked me, do I agree for that or did I agree for that? And it was no-brainer decision. Just yeah, I said yes without thinking about it.
Right. So it was a no-brainer to accept the new
Yeah,
contract.
yeah.
Okay.
Or yeah, or for example, you got a promotion on your job. What was kind of your dream for, and of course, it's like no-brainer decision or get the offer, accept the
Okay.
offer.
Why is it important to have a few no-brainers in your daily life?
Uh, well, I think why it's important. Uh, I think it's how to say. I think most of decisions we already made in our minds, and for some of them we are already ready to accept that. Or sometimes in some difficult or dangerous situation, we have to move fast, yeah, or we have to turn from crash, or maybe invest some money. And based on experience, we have to take a decision. And sometimes it's kind of common sense. That's why I think it's important for us.
Yes. And just to add to that as well, it gives you you keep your energy for more important decisions that you have to make. So we don't have a lot of energy as well.
Yeah, and so yeah, energy, and sometimes we don't have enough time to think.
That's right. That's right. So we have limits. We have limits as human beings. Um, and that I want you to agree or disagree with me, okay?
Okay.
And tell me and then give me reasons why you agree or disagree, and give me examples as well. The statement that I'm going to give you is this: it's better to make a bad decision than to make no decision. It's better to
Uh,
make a bad decision than. What do you think about that?
well, of course, it comes on situation, uh, but sometimes some bad things, some bad experience, give us new skills and open new perspective in our lives. That's why it's important to do anything just to get a success in the future. That's why I absolutely agree with that.
You mentioned that it depends on the situation.
Yeah, of course.
Can you give me an example of that? Which situations would it be better to have no decision than to make a bad decision?
Okay, let me think a little bit. For example, maybe it's not the best, but for example, in our not childhood, but maybe when we are 70 or 20, I mean, we are kind of boys who would like to have a date with girls, and we don't know how to just to start talking with girls, yeah.
Yes.
And of course, it's better just to start, and maybe you will do some stupid things just to say something, bad jokes, or you're gonna be nervous a bit. But in the future, you will get some gain your experience, and it will work again. Not again. I mean, it will work in future, and you will get the communication skills, and of course, you will feel more comfortable after some approaches.
Okay, so that is one of many situations where it's better to make no decision than to make a bad one. Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know another phrase that you can use instead of in the future? Like sometimes you say, in the future, I would like a new car, or in the future, I would like to work for Emirates. Do you know another phrase?
In the future, or maybe so far,
No,
no, or for a while, down the
no.
road.
So if you say down the road is the same meaning as in the future. So down the road, I would like to have to buy a new car, or down the road, I would like to buy a new house.
Is it kind of idiom, yeah?
Yes, kind of idiom that we use to talk about something. Well, down the road, I would like to do this, or down the road, I would like to buy that
Okay.
something. We talked about no-brainers. What is the opposite of a no-brainer? Like, how would you describe the opposite of a no-brainer?
Uh, yeah, in easy words, I would like to say that it's I have to think before to take a decision, or I have to wait up all perspectives and after take a decision.
Yes. So the word that we use is called a carefully considered decision.
Mm-hmm.
Carefully considered decision. Um, so those are the decisions, like you said, that you have to weigh up the pros and the cons, and
Yeah.
it's really important decisions that we make. Um, what kind of carefully considered decisions? Can you give some examples?
Well, for me, it's the easiest example is my job. For example, I'm flying on cruise, and I have some weather issue in my my destination airport. And before today or take a decision to continue my flight, I have to evaluate potential risk. I have to study weather around the airport, and of course I have to check a lot of things before to take consider decision. And I think it's part of my life to find out all income information before to take a decision.
Yes, that's correct. And it's all these key decisions that we have to make in our lives: getting married, having
Yeah,
children.
even that,
Um,
even getting married, painfully married.
yes. All right, I'm going to make another statement for you, and then tell me whether you agree or disagree with this statement.
Okay.
I always ask for advice when making big decisions.
Well, I can't say that always, but most of the time, I think most people like to discuss and ask for advice with friends or maybe family before to decide something. I mean, not
In,
decide. I mean, to have a big decision.
do you have a group of people in your life that you've like where you go to ask for advice? Like there are like 3 important people in your life that you ask
I
advice
can't,
from.
yeah, I see. I can't say that I have a list of these people, but most of the time it's my close friend,
All right.
uh, of course, my father and my wife. I think it's usual for everyone just to discuss it with the close friends and family or to discuss. Yeah, of course. For example, you're thinking about to invest huge amount of money to some project or maybe to stock market, and of course, it's a good idea to discuss or have advice
Yeah.
from finance specialist. But most of the time, uh, we are talking or we are discussing that with the family.
Okay. We sometimes make decisions when we're shopping where you shop but you don't like think too much about buying something before and then you regret it afterwards.
Yeah.
Um, what do you call that decision?
Uh, I'm sure that there is some special phrase for that, but I would say uh, maybe bad decision or some yeah, rush decision, yeah, impulsive
We
decision.
usually in English say it was a rash decision or it was an impulsive decision. Do
Mm-hmm.
you have any stories for me, Max, of impulsive decisions that you've made when shopping? And then later on, you said, why did I buy that? Why did I buy that thing? Or do you always make carefully considered decisions when you go shopping?
uh yeah, I think it has happened with me before. I think I don't have now some special story or uh nice nice example in my life. I
Okay,
know
so
some,
what you can
yeah,
say,
some,
sorry,
no,
yeah?
okay, sometimes, yeah, sometimes, for example, uh when uh when I look through stock markets, I'm scrolling, I'm looking for some stocks, and sometimes I can invest some small amount of money to some project. Maybe it can be a little bit risky, but potential profit may push me to buy some stock market, and after days, uh, I will realize that it was a bad and impulsive decision because I uh, didn't think about the risk, or I refused the risk and decided to buy impulsive.
So you bought impulsively. So you use the adverb impulsively.
Yeah,
I bought impulsively. Okay,
impulsive, impulsively.
impulsively.
Yeah, it's something
If you
different.
don't have an answer, the phrase that you can also use is nothing comes to mind in this moment. So when you can't think about something, when you can't think about an example, um, you
Can
can
you
say
write down?
nothing comes to mind.
Can you write down that?
Yes, I wrote it down in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah. So well, I know I have made impulsive decisions in the past, but nothing comes to mind right now.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing comes to mind. Um, Max, sometimes in life, we also make painful decisions. So you have to sacrifice something in life. Would you consider moving from Russia to Rwanda? Would you describe that as a painful decision?
No, I can't. I can't. It was
Why
it
not?
gave, because it gave me another perspective, and it gave me a lot of experience. It gave me international life experience. I got a lot of new friends, maybe not a friends, but maybe mates, colleagues, and yeah, I can't say that.
But Max, you moved away from your family. You moved away from your brother. You moved away from your familiar surroundings. Wasn't there a kind of pain involved in moving away from what you are used
Yeah,
to?
but I believe that when you're moving away your comfort zone, it give you another opportunity which will hide it before you before that, before moving or beyond comfort zone. Even that, i I traveled with my family, my wife and daughter, even a dog, to Rwanda. That's why I can't say that I didn't have family behind me. I had really good supportive team. Yeah, of course, it was not easy to me to live here in the beginning, but yeah, when you are with your family, yeah, it makes your life easier.
Right. So it was important that you had the support of your family,
Mhm.
and that is what made it bearable for you, and that's what made it manageable for you in Rwanda. Um, so you actually had a very positive mindset leaving Russia and moving to Rwanda.
Uh, yeah, for sure. First of all, I didn't think about Rwanda before, and some situation in my life just pushed me go beyond my limits and move to Rwanda. Yeah,
Okay,
sorry.
right.
And I think all my investment paid off on the
Nice.
stage.
A very nice phrase that you used there. It paid off. It was successful. A very nice phrase to use when we're talking about decisions that were successful. It
Yeah.
paid off. Very nice, Max. Very nice. Um, Max, here's the next one that I want you to agree or disagree with. Never make a decision under pressure. Never make
Mhm.
a decision under pressure. What do you think about that?
What I can say, but sometimes you have to do that, especially in aviation industry. Well, of course. Uh, have you heard something about tunnel effect when you cannot?
No.
Yeah, for example, uh, you have some multitasking exercise or job, and when you have to do a lot of things simultaneously, for example, uh, in your case, you have to describe something to your student. At the same time, you are surrounded your kids, which who are making some crazy things and make a lot of noise. And also there is some huge thunderstorm around your house, and you can see a lot of lights, some
Yes.
maybe heavy precipitations are falling, and you cannot to focus yourself on to your studying and your lesson. And some surround noise and some a lot of action around you just takes your attention from screen or from your studying, yeah. And you cannot how to say be 100% involved in your classroom.
Yes.
And innovation, we call it tunnel effect. For example, you have
Tunnel effect.
tunnel effect,
Okay.
that you cannot to see and check all income information when you are in this effect, and you are focused, for example, only on speed, on only on altitude, on only on your attitude position, and you cannot to hear ATC, you cannot to hear what your colleague are asking you to do. And yeah, it's a difficult things, and I can say that it's kind of under pressure situation. That's why, yeah,
Right.
of course, it's not good idea to take a decision in such a case. You have to delegate your task and try to be outside the situation, just to thinking from the another side.
Right, right. Very good example there of making decisions under pressure. And it's also, would you say that it's the same whether you're a pilot or whether you in your personal life? Would you approach things in the same way?
But the main problem that it's difficult to realize that you're a tunnel effect now, that you're under pressure right now.
Yes.
Yeah, of course you can feel uncomfortable, but your brain thinks that you have to do something. You have to decide something right now. Make it faster, just to try to go away from this pressure. But the best idea just to leave the situation for a moment. Just try to have a relax for a few seconds.
Okay, great. I think that, yeah, I think that you need to be, as you said, you need to be self-aware when that is happening. How do you describe a person that is not afraid to make decisions? There's one word in English, someone that is not afraid to make decisions.
I think it's selfish.
No.
Or confident person.
We can use confident as well. We can use confident. The correct word is decisive.
Decisive.
If you are a decisive person, you are not afraid of making decisions, like which we should be like a CEO or a manager or a leader should be quite decisive. What is the opposite of decisive?
Undecisive or
Indecisive. Indecisive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So indecisive people are really people that are people that don't are people that are very hesitant making decisions. Always looking at the risks. Always looking at the negative side, probably, of things. Max, if I say to you, indecisive people are indecisive because they are afraid of failure. Do you think that's accurate or not?
Sorry, could you ask me again?
So people are indecisive because they are afraid of failing, or they are afraid of failure.
I think kind of. I can agree with you with the statement. But also, I can say that indecisive person is a person who doesn't have enough experience for education.
Okay. Okay, great. We can also make life-changing decisions. Decisions that not just make decisions, but that actually change our whole lives as well. Can you give me examples of some life-changing decisions that has completely changed your life?
As we discussed before about decision which I made before, like moved from Russia to Rwanda. It was a life-changing decision.
Was that the biggest one? The biggest life-changing decision you've made? Or one of them?
From now, yeah, I can say, yeah, it's the biggest one.
Okay, so moving from Rwanda to moving from Russia to Rwanda.
Yeah, I would say that that it's the biggest one. Yeah, of course. Another one when I decided to get married, but it was a no-brainer because at that time I was already living with my future life around 4 or 5 years. That's why it was kind of just to final sign a contract together. It was already decided before.
Right. Right.
But the biggest one is going to another country.
Max, thank you so much for doing that. So in my classes, it's important to integrate the new language into our conversation. So it was nice to see you using, it was a no-brainer to get married to my wife. So very nice to see you integrating that language already. Really nice. Max, here's an interesting one because you are a parent. Do you think parents should make important decisions for their children? Why or why not?
Wow. How you say it, nothing comes in my mind.
Nothing comes to mind. Yes, nothing comes to mind.
Well,
Or maybe up till what age? Maybe we can change it by saying up to what age should you make important decisions for your children? Maybe that might be better.
my point that the main things what parents can do for kids is just to follow them and to give them a chance to take a decision by themselves. It doesn't mean that we have to leave them or taking decision for everywhere. Of course, we have to decide, for example, what schools they should apply or what education they not should to have, but to give them advice. But the main things, well, it's just my point. I'd like to emphasize that before that nowadays we are overthinking kids' care, and in our childhood we didn't have so much attention from parents because they were busy about the job and
Yes.
to make for food. And I most of the time I not spend alone, but I was walking outside with another kids, and I think it's the best things what my parents did for me. It's just to give me chance to grow up in a social life. I mean, not at home, not at school.
Yes.
And after I got some experience, I decided what I can study, what I can do in my life. And of course, parents should think about safety first
Yes.
and health, but not overcare.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you made a very nice phrase there. Sometimes we can overparent. We can be
Yeah.
guilty of overparenting. Or there's another phrase, helicopter parenting, where you look like a helicopter and you always looking down on your.
Yeah. Yes. We all have kind of friends who are who can say, well, my daughter is applying for musician school, for English schools, and then she's dancing, she's teaching Chinese, French, English together. Uh, she's studying sciences now, and in that case, kids don't have a time to be a kids, and I think it's a not good, not good for a future.
Okay.
I mean, not the, how to say. Sorry, a little bit stuck now because I didn't sleep well before. Well, in that case, kids don't have a chance yet just to be kids, just to play it outside with
Yeah.
another, just to socialize in this world.
Kids need to be kids. They don't need to be adults
Yeah.
at that point. They
Yeah.
just need to be kids.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to give you a situation. All right. And I want to ask you, how would you respond in the situation? Because the question was, do you think parents should make important decisions for their children? Your daughter is 21 years old and
Okay.
she wants to get married to a very handsome guy. Okay.
Mm.
But you don't like the guy. for some reason. So you don't like him, maybe because maybe he doesn't have a good job or something like that. Would you go to your daughter and say, well, I'm feeling a bit uncomfortable about this guy that you want to marry? Or would you keep quiet and say, well, I trust you because you're an adult now and you'll just keep quiet and not say anything about this guy?
Yeah, it's a difficult one. Look, it's easy to say than to feel that. I don't know really. I'm confused because in my mind it's better to say the second one, that I believe you and you can do what you think it's important for you, but I don't know.
It's a
Really.
dilemma. Yeah, we call it a dilemma.
I don't know. To be
It's a
honest,
bit of a difficult one.
yeah.
I don't even know what I would do. If I believe that I raised my child in a good way, um, I don't think I would interfere too much
Well,
in
of
terms of
course,
their decisions.
yeah, of course. I think it's very important to be honest with kids in such as example, just to share that you are a little bit worried about that you are not sure that it's good for her or for him. But anyway, I believe you, and just to be cautious with that, yeah. Make sure that you are sure. Yeah, it's a lot of sure. Make sure that you are doing this right, and that's all.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And maybe you and your wife can support each other in that. Maybe your wife is better in communicating concerns better
Yeah.
with your daughter. Not easy to be a parent.
Yeah, but hopefully my daughter is too now.
So you've got a long way to go.
Yeah.
You've got a long way to go. Yeah, before you have to think about that kind of thing. Max, if you are making a decision today, a similar decision today that you made, for example, 5 years ago or 10 years ago, so you're making a similar decision, the same decision, would you go back to the past and look at how you made that decision 5 years ago? Or would you approach this situation today in a different way? Or would you look back in the past and see how you made it?
Yeah, it's easy to say that we all have a lot of cases, for examples, when we would like to move back and take another decision. But everything what's happening with us, it's moving us to a better life, maybe, or get some skills and experience which will help us to reach a success. That's why I, of course, I have some examples what I would like to change, but I can't do that. That's
Yeah,
why I should waste my time to think about it. I
that's right.
already did that. What I should do is just to avoid the same mistake in the future. That's it.
When was that point? I know that in Russian schools, I think you learn English throughout your school career in Russia. But when did you make a decision to really, really learn a foreign language properly? Can you remember that point in your life when you made that decision? And what made you decide on that?
Uh, well, yeah, you're right that I studied English for a long time, but I didn't evolve. Well, I was already pilot, and I was flying a lot to the Europe and to the Asia, and I realized that English and aviation career, I mean, good quality aviation career, it's two things which are going together. And if I would like to get a success, I had to study it. I had to involve in foreign language for 100%. And I think it was at 2013 or 14 when I decided that for sure I have to try myself in international alliance like Emirates or Rwanda. And after that, I decided that I have to study it and spend more time with that.
Okay, great.